All these stupid focus tips are useless. How am I supposed to make my first easy million if I can't focus?
Need help focusing? I've got a strategy that almost every successful person swears by. I'm serious. Majority of successful people owe a part of their success to this one practice. What's this magic bullet that turns 9 to 5 jobs into $9 to $5 million?
It's deep work. It might sound simple, but it's actually pretty overpowered. This video will be broken up into the 3 steps necessary to master deep work, and at the end of this video, I'll give you a bonus step. But before we can start, we need to understand why deep work is disappearing from today's distracted world. Wait, what is deep work?
Wait, what am I even talking about? Talking about the book Deep Work by Cal Newport, which illustrates the rules for focused success in this distracted world. More about this book at the end of the video.
Deep work is defined as work that you do without distraction, where you focus extremely hard and use your brain to its fullest. This kind of work helps you get better at new things, makes you even better at the things you're already doing, and specifically makes your work hard to copy. The opposite of deep work is shallow work, which are defined as simple tasks that do not require much brain power and can often be performed while distracted. These jobs don't make anything new or special, so other people can easily copy what you do in shallow work. If you want to get ahead of most people, you're going to need to do as much deep work as you can while avoiding as much shallow work as you can. Before we can get into the specifics, we need to answer the question, why aren't people doing deep work? When people choose which task to solve, they usually pick the easiest. Let me explain. 2 years ago, I'd come home and open up my homework on the computer. I would look at what I needed to do and choose the easiest thing first. I then saved the hard stuff for later. Since everything was due the same day, I thought it didn't matter what order I did it in, but this was a mistake. When I got to the big, hard assignments, it was late and I was too tired to focus. Think of something big you need to get done. Maybe it's a massive project or a test or a job someone asked you to do. But then you haven't got it done yet because you've been spending all your time on the easier stuff. It feels better to do easy things first, but it causes problems later. This is one of the reasons people don't do deep work. The biggest problem we all face is getting distracted. When you need to do something important, you might end up watching YouTube or scrolling Instagram. That happens to me too, but I've been working on finding a solution, and I'll be sharing to you what I found in this video. And the answer is deep work. Deep work helps you focus so you can solve big problems. But before we can get there, there's another trap that a lot of people fall into when trying to work hard. I made a huge mistake while studying for my first finals in high school. But if people were to look, they would say I was being productive. Scattered across my desk would be tons of note cards, a crash course opened up on my computer, my semester's notes piled over there. But the truth was, I wasn't focused. People, for some reason, believe productivity to be how busy you look. So the busier you are, the more productive you are. In the book Deep Work, it explains how when people aren't given a clear idea of what is good work, they think busyness and showing others how much they're doing is the best way to show they're working hard. Our minds are terrible at focusing on multiple things. Have you ever tried focusing on 5 tasks at once? It's hard. I do acknowledge that yes, there are jobs where doing 5 tasks at once is productive. For example, fast food employees are expected to do multiple things at once. I'm not saying we should stop trying to look busy at our jobs, but for some jobs, especially ones where you think to solve problems, looking busy doesn't always mean you're getting things done. So how do we know if we're really working well? Great question. The answer is deep work. Deep work helps you do more and better. But there's another big problem that makes it hard to do. Social media, woohoo! Actually, more like boohoo. Social media takes up so much of our time, but I'm using social media to do something good. Sure, there are some benefits to social media, but if you want to maximize your focus to produce your best work, you're going to have to stay away from its traps. Right now, people believe that any new technology with a positive benefit must be great. But that's not necessarily true. You are always making sacrifices, even if that's for something good. Too often, when we have free time, we don't spend it on what matters most to us. Instead, we scroll on our phones. Even when we try to focus, our phone pulls us away. We tell ourselves that I'll start tomorrow and I'll do better, but saying it won't make it true. This is why deep work is so important. Everyone struggles with distractions. More and more people spend their time on screens, but we can change our habits. Here's the good news. Distractions are bad for most people, and most people don't fight distractions, but that gives you an advantage. You've probably heard people say that it's never been easier to get ahead. That's because most people are distracted. And if you can focus through deep work, you will stand out. Things will get harder before they get better, but that's why now is the best time to start working towards your goals. Maybe you've tried to work on a big idea or a big project, but it didn't work. Deep work is the answer. Remember, deep work is when you focus really hard on one task without distractions. Shallow work is when you do easy tasks that don't require much brain power. Think checking emails or doom scrolling. Most people spend their time doing shallow work, and it's hard to change that. It takes time to get your focus back, but the longer you wait, the harder it will be. It's not impossible, but it takes effort, and here are 2 reasons why. First, distractions are everywhere. Emails, social media, TV, video games, notifications, they all take your attention away. Your phone especially makes it hard to focus. In order to do deep work, you have to put anything that could distract you away. For example, when you work, turn off your phone and put it away. You can wait 5 minutes without your phone. But for an hour, you need to put it away to stay focused. Second, everyone only has so much energy to focus each day. This energy is called willpower, and as the day goes on, it gets used up. Now, hear this one. If you spend that time on easy distracted tasks, you won't have the energy, willpower, to focus on deep work. To save your energy for deep work, you need to spend less time on shallow tasks. There are 4 ways to help you do more deep work. Once I explain them all, I'll share a bonus tip that will help you start now and keep going strong. Don't worry if any of the philosophy words are too big for you. I'll explain starting with a story. There's this guy named Donald Knuth, and he's super important in the computer science space. In order to contact him, you would have to send him a letter. His assistant then goes through all the letters, and Kenneth only gets the important information. This way, Kenneth spends more time in deep work than in distractions like emails. Another person who does something similar is Neal Stephenson, a famous writer. He also doesn't use email. He said he could either spend time writing great books or spend time responding to emails. So he decided to write great books. Both of these guys use something that's called the monastic philosophy, which is cutting out all distractions to focus on what matters most. So what would this look like for you? That means no Instagram Reels, no TikTok, no YouTube Shorts, no Snapchat, no Tyler Todays? Nothing can distract you. And this takes a lot of dedication, and not everyone can do it. If you think, I want to focus like that, then good luck. For most people though, unplugging like this is not realistic. Here's another idea. There's this guy named Charles Jung who is a psychologist. In the 1920s, he built a little house in the woods to help him escape from his busy life. This wasn't a vacation house where he could relax. It was a place where he could focus without distraction. He'd spend long hours in the house doing deep work, and on breaks he would walk outside and think about the ideas he just worked on. Jung did this because his life was super busy, with a lot of patients and a lot of late nights. He couldn't focus on his deep work in the middle of all of that. But when he went to his house in the woods, he had the quiet time he needed to focus. Not everyone can build a house in the woods to do homework, but Jung's idea of finding a quiet place to focus is an idea we should all learn from. This rule is called the bimodal philosophy. It means setting aside specific time to do deep work, which is, focusing really hard on specific tasks without any distractions. To do this, you need to remove yourself from your current environment and then spend time focusing on the hard tasks at hand. When you're not in these deep work sessions, you can just live life as you normally would. This philosophy gives you the deep work focus of the monastic philosophy without requiring you to give up all distractions for the rest of your life. This could mean leaving on a trip or going to a library or to a hotel and focusing on some sort of big project that you currently have. If you can't leave your home or go to some new surroundings, what you can instead do is ask for some time and tell your coworkers or whatever you do, hey, I will not be available for said amount of days until this day. And then spend that time you now have to perform deep work. Some of you guys might think, that's exactly what I need, Tyler. And that's great, but there are some problems with this method. For example, most of us can't just disappear for a month. Even if you could, it'd probably cause more problems than it would solve. Because most of us can't take a break like that, there are 2 other philosophies that are better for people who have a job, school, or other responsibilities. These methods will help fit deep work into your daily life. Have you ever heard of the name Jerry Seinfeld? He made a super popular TV show called Seinfeld. One day, a young comedian asked him for a piece of advice, and what he said is amazing. In order to write better jokes, you have to write jokes every day. To help him do this, Seinfeld uses a calendar. In the morning, when he finishes writing his jokes, he puts a giant X on the calendar for that day. Once he has a chain of X's, he has motivation not to break the chain, and this keeps him on track. This way of working is called the rhythmic philosophy, and it's all about making deep work a daily habit. Instead of disconnecting completely or traveling far away, you simply set a time each day to focus. It's realistic and easy to stick to. You don't have to delete all social media or build a cabin in the woods. You just need to stay consistent. Here's another story. There's this guy named Brian Chappell, and he's writing his big school paper while starting a new job and raising his first newborn child. At first, he tried to fit deep work into any random free time he had. But guess what? That never happened. So he made a new plan. He decided to wake up at 5:35 a.m. every morning to get an hour and a half of deep work in before his busy day started. Slowly but surely, he started finishing his paper little by little every morning. The rhythmic philosophy doesn't give you the quality of deep work as the monastic or the bimodal philosophies, but it's great for people who live busy lives. You can still balance your job, your schooling, your family, while still making time for passion projects. I spend about 1 hour every day working on videos for this channel. I would love to do more, like working for 5 hours every day, but that's not realistic for my schedule. This system works for me because it's consistent, and because of that, I think it could work for you. Now let's talk about another way, the journalistic philosophy. Walter Isaacson, a famous writer and journalist, uses this strategy. Whenever he had free time, say 20 minutes to an hour, he would isolate himself in a room and quietly work on his book. Then after, he'd just go back to his regular life. This philosophy sounds cool, but it's not easy. The hardest part is quickly switching from shallow work to deep work. If you can learn this skill, you can fit deep work into little crevices of your day, but it does take practice and time to learn. Though difficult to pull off, if you feel this is the best philosophy for you, then great. It's a great way to squeeze deep work into your day. Quick recap. Monastic philosophy requires you to remove all distractions and only focus on deep work. This is hard to do for most people. The bimodal philosophy, spend some time in deep work and the rest living your life. The rhythmic philosophy, make deep work a habit, like working for an hour every day. It's realistic and easy to fit into a busy life. The journalistic philosophy, use any free time you have to do deep work. It's great for squeezing in deep work, but it can be difficult switching between focus and unfocus. Now, let's get to the bonus tip. No matter which deep work philosophy you choose, it's important that you create a routine for your deep work sessions. Here's how you get started. Number 1, choose where you work and for how long. First, you need to decide where you're going to do your deep work and for how long. Pick a quiet place like a desk, a library, a car. I actually wrote part of the script in my car. It's important to choose a spot with no distractions. If you can, dedicate one place for deep work, like a desk or a room. This trains your brain to naturally focus when you sit there. Also, set a specific time for deep work. For me, 1 to 2 hours works best. Without a set time, you'll get nothing done. And trust me, I've learned the hard way. Next, figure out what you're going to work on. Without a plan, you might end up staring at a wall, which isn't fun. If you're writing, for example, set a word goal count for a specific amount of time, say like 30 minutes. For other tasks, make sure to have a clear step to complete. When you know exactly what you're doing, you can get started right away without wasting any time. Step 3, prepare what you need. Don't forget the basics. Keep water nearby. If you get thirsty and have to leave your spot, this will break your focus. Work on a full stomach. It's hard to focus when you're hungry. Get up and move around before you start. This helps your blood flow and gets you ready to focus. I want to give a huge shout out to Cal Newport for this video. All of this information comes from his book, Deep Work. I've only shared about 10% of what this book has to offer. So if you would like to unlock the other 90%, check out the link in the description. It's an affiliate link, so it will help out the channel. But more importantly, this book will help you. If you'd like me to cover more of what Cal Newport teaches, let me know. And don't forget to subscribe because Cal Newport asked you to. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Godspeed.